This has been coupled with the steady increase of luxury fashion prices. The reasons for price increases have been included in my blog post, and the reasons for the price adjustments and harmonizations is that the luxury industry in particular had been heavily impacted by the pandemic in 2020. And there seems to be a general consensus recently that buying and opting into luxury fashion goods and services no longer means you are getting something which is of high quality. And consumers are weighing in on this slowdown. The luxury industry has lost around 50 million of its consumers in 2024. 37% are shopping less for luxury fashion, and 66% are waiting for discounts and sales before they make any luxury fashion purchases. Many consumers have stated that declining quality despite price increases are a concern, and consumers are seeking alternatives in contemporary brands, with luxury consumers, especially those under 35, who are more price sensitive as they are very early on in their career. They are more kind of conscious and more aware and value driven. They are seeking alternatives like resale and smaller luxury items. The under 35s are also demanding higher quality and greater ethical practices and greater and broader creative designs from luxury brands, and expressing concerns at over perceived declines in these areas.
Are made in China and cost only $5. They just add the logo in France and charge you 10 to 40 times the price. Close your eyes. If your Chanel cosmetics says made in China, will it feel cheaper? It's not about quality, it's about brand washing. Interesting fact, who makes Chanel cosmetics? 42% are crafted by Chinese artisans. We don't do cheap goods, we do understand luxury.
People didn't know that they'll, like, for example, if they're doing like a luxury bag, they'll probably make the majority of the bag in China, and then they'll ship it back to whatever country it is, and then in that country they'll either add some finishing touches or they'll add their logo or some sort of something, right? They'll add something, so that allows them to be able to write made in Italy or made in America. Not 100% made in America, and I'm surprised more people don't know that, but like the quality for China products are just as good. We always had this assumption that China goods are not good, but it's all propaganda at this point. And all I see right now is that China is going to keep growing and surpassing all the other countries. This is a long time coming because for a really long...
Want to know who really makes Sarah's clothes in China? Let me expose their key suppliers. First, shoes. Their footwear are mainly produced by Yuanli Tongshu. For clothes and jackets, they are most produced by Tongli Clothing. Interestingly, they are also proved a supplier for H&M. Now, you know the truth behind Zara's tag.
Who are the suppliers behind Lululemon? Some of their yoga wears are actually from Xianglong Clothing and Huangqisheng Clothing. And guess what? Both factories located in Yiwu here. And these two factories also supply clothing for Fila and Under Armour. I guess most of you know the price of Lululemon or other big brands. They sell you a legging pants for $100. And guess what? Here in these two factories, you can get them for around $5 to $6. Crazy! And what's even better? The material and the craftsmanship are basically the same because they all come the same production line. See, this is why people come to China and looking for the OEM factory, because they just can get the cheapest and best quality product from there and sell you, I don't know how much.
I'm so glad that China is letting everyone know now, finally, that your Birkins came from China. They weren't made in the US. And when I ordered this from China, they made it after I ordered it. So it was especially made for me. It took about 6 weeks to get.
That in this scenario, to use your metaphor, the US has the bigger gun, and so China ends up having more to lose from this trade war, doesn't it? You know, it can't sustain the loss of 15% of its export market, i.e. what you export to the US.
Not at all. China is fully prepared to fight to the very end because the world is big enough that the United States is not the totality of the market in the world. So if the United States wants to go in that direction of completely shutting itself out of the China market, be my guest.
Yeah, and China will lose the US market, which, as I've said, is 15%.
We don't care. We don't care. China has been here for 5,000 years. Most of the time, there was no United States, and we survived. Right. And if the United States wants to bully China, we will deal with the situation without the United States, and we expect to survive for another 5,000 years.
It has been reported since 2019 when LVMH billionaire Bernard Arnault that this lack of artisan or knowledge or leather craftsmanship within this Texan-based facility means that the quality of the bags that they're producing is lower than what would be expected if the same bags were produced in Europe. It has been reported that errors being made during cutting and preparation and at the assembly points had led to waste of over 40% of the leather materials which were being used on site because of the poor crafted made handbags, which are considered dead stock or obsolete inventory. Many of them are being shredded and being taken by trucks for incineration. One of the aims and goals with Trump's reciprocal tariffs was to see if there was any way to reshore US manufacturing, because higher tariffs on foreign goods make imported products into the US more expensive. Brands and companies are encouraged to move their facilities offshore to the US, which is obviously something which is unattainable because the majority of the manufacturing facilities and manufacturing hubs are based in locations such as China. And China have got this infrastructure which is unrivaled and unparalleled if you compare this to other manufacturing hubs or facilities which you'll be able to find in other continents. And they have got the infrastructure to produce quality goods en masse which they'll be able to distribute and export out of China and import into other countries globally.